The Mumbai Indians are always a force in the IPL, and if their recent pattern is anything to go by, champions in 2013, 15, 17, you know how that bell is ringing. We're going to discuss their strengths and weaknesses with Sanjay Manjrekar and Brad Hodge, the X-Factor players to watch out for. See what Sanjay and Brad's ideal 11 for the Mumbai Indians look like and their predictions on where Rohit Sharma's team might end up in 2019. Let's just have a look at the squad first, as we tend to just remind everyone of what the team looks like. Rohit Sharma, of course, is an IPL legend in his own right. Yuvraj Singh is the other experienced India international that joins him. Jury's out on that selection. Surya Kumar Yadav was a top order bat for Mumbai last season. Siddesh Lad, Anmolpreet Singh brought in for decent money. Evan Lewis, the overseas left-hand West Indian batsman up top. There's a good chance, though, Quinton de Kock, who was traded before the auction, might displace someone like Lewis. They'll have to take a call between Aditya Tare and Ishan Kishan as to a wicketkeeper bat, unless they give the gloves to de Kock. The all-rounders, there are plenty. Ben Cutting, Hardik Pandya, Krunal Pandya, Kyron Pollard, and the left-arm spinner from Jharkhand, Anukul Roy, is the other one that they'll need to figure out. As far as the bowlers go, Mumbai Indians tend to throw up a few surprises with their scouting system. Mayank Markande was one of those. Will it be the 17-year-old seamer Rasid Salam who we get to see, or Pankaj Jaiswal from Himachal Pradesh, who's got a decent record too in 2020 cricket? Mitch McClanahan and Jason Behrendorff, the left-arm seam options overseas. Lasith Malinga and his rejuvenated form in international cricket. At some point, somebody will have to fill in for Jasprit Bumrah. Will it be Barinder Saran? That's the team then. Let's just go to Sanjay and Brad and see, does this team look like a solid enough team for you? Any apparent, obvious weaknesses, Sanjay?
No, it's not a team with any obvious weakness. And one of the things that I do before an IPL season begins, I just look at the team, look at the batsmen like we've done in the squad, and then I rate them on 10. And I remember doing that same exercise last year, and I gave the lowest rating to CSK. They went on to win.
You don't need to remind me about it. I predicted they'll finish bottom as well, but well.
So when you look at Mumbai Indians, no obvious weakness. They're well covered with quality in seam, with Bumrah leading, the pack. They've got Quinton de Kock, which is an excellent selection. He's in great form at the international level, so I think he'll come good. Ishan Kishan is a good young player. Rohit Sharma should bat either at the top or bat at number 3, no lower than that. And then you've got the two Pandya brothers to take care of, a little bit of this, little bit of that. And maybe, as you mentioned, one of these guys, the Rasik or Pankaj Jaiswal, could come in and take one slot. Cutting is a great option for Pollard if they feel Pollard is not quite contributing as consistently. So, and Behrendorff is going to be one of my seamers, along with McClanahan.
They have a huge affinity towards loyalty, don't they, Brad Hodge, when it comes to the Mumbai Indians? They stick with Kyron Pollard. They've now brought back Lasith Malinga, who bizarrely was part of the coaching staff last season, and here he is now, possibly pushing for a place in the 11. Just thoughts on whether this team, similar questions, are some of them too old now? Are they still as good as what Mumbai Indians used to think they are?
No, they're a serious unit. I think the one question that needs to be answered is where Rohit is actually going to be, excel for his team. I know that he's captain, he'll probably give up the opportunities to others, but I think either at the top or, as Sanjay mentioned, somewhere where he got access to many balls is going to benefit Rohit. I think he needs to step up as well. It's such a balanced side. It's such a deep batting unit. They play Wankhede really, really well. I think Pollard didn't have the greatest tournaments last year, so I think he will have an impact this year. And Bumrah, that X factor that he provides is, really important. How many games he'll play in the tournament may be a factor. Maybe their spin department as well. How Krunal Pandya and also Markande backing up in his second year will perform. But all in all, I think they're a pretty strong unit.
Okay, give me an X factor. Let's start with you. Hodgie, player to watch out for you?
Look, I think I've gone for Kyron Pollard, I think, the X factor. I just think that I had him in the CPL last year, and look, he was outstanding in that tournament. He was captain, he led from the front. He didn't perform particularly well last year, and he got one opportunity, and he smacked about 50 off 20 balls against the Kings 11 Punjab, and it's that type of aggression which we know that Kyron can perform, and when it's his day, you know that the Wankhede Stadium is certainly not big enough.
Okay, what about Sanjay Manjrekar? Now, those numbers from Kyron Pollard don't necessarily stand out, but there's a different level of pride with which some of the West Indians play in the IPL. You've got some players to watch out for as well, Sanjay, your X-Factor players?
I'm really happy that Mumbai Indians have Quinton de Kock. I've always rated him, and when he was last, I think, playing for Delhi, he was doing a superb job, I thought. Didn't play him enough last season, so good to see him come into the scheme of things. His form is good at the international level and bat at the top of the order, I think. And keep wickets as well, unless you want to keep Ishan Kishan involved as a player, because Ishan Kishan is good enough to come in as a batsman, but I can't imagine Quinton de Kock on the field with him. And Rohit Sharma's prowess with the bat. So with the bat, Quinton de Kock, Rohit Sharma will just dictate the culture and the future of Mumbai Indians. And that man Bumrah, who's a game changer with with the ball, with the new ball, as well as the last few overs.
Well, they will be without Jasprit Bumrah perhaps for some part of that season, depending on what the BCCI demands and the rest and workload for Bumrah before the World Cup. But what is therefore Sanjay and Brad's ideal 11 for the Mumbai Indians? Let's have a look, assuming everyone is fit and available, as we cast our eye on Sanjay Manjrekar's fit for the Mumbai Indians. And all eyes on where Rohit Sharma bats. Like Sanjay's already said, he wants him in the top 3, so 3 is the lowest. 2 keeping options for you, Sanjay. One for de Kock as well as Ishan Kishan. Surya Kumar Yadav, who opened with success last season, you've slotted him at 4. The Pandya brothers means there's no place for Yuvraj Singh in your 11. Ben Cutting ahead of Kieron Pollard. And Jason Behrendorff and Mitchell McClenaghan, both left-arm seamers, would keep Lasith Malinga and Adam Milne out of that team. Markande is the lone wrist spinner, and Bumrah, of course.
Yeah, I mentioned right at the start that there is no real weakness or loophole in this Mumbai Indians team. But as I'm looking at the playing 11 again, maybe in the spin department, Mayank Markande is the wrist spinner, but he's not a big spinner of the ball like, say, a Kuldeep Yadav. So you've got Krunal Pandya to do some spin business, and you've got Markande there. So that's where I think there's no exceptional spinner, if you can call it, but all the others, I mean, they have a nice pack of all-rounders, some big hitters.
You prefer the left-arm seamers to Lasith Malinga?
Yes, and Malinga has made a comeback for Sri Lanka as well. I've been watching his bowling figures. It's not the Malinga of old. They might play Malinga, but pick and choose, sort of, a crucial game where they need somebody seasoned to handle the pressure. I like Behrendorff. McClenaghan has been good for Mumbai Indians, so reward him for his services.
And Behrendorff might be called up by the Australian side at some point, so then they've got enough reserves. What about Brad Hodges' 11 for the Mumbai Indians? Let's see if there are any significant changes that I can see. Now, you've got Evan Lewis ahead of Quinton de Kock. You've got Kieron Pollard ahead of Ben Cutting. So, a couple of significant changes. You stick with Surya Kumar Yadav, who opened with success last season. Hodgie, am I to believe that you will stick with Rohit Sharma at 4? And as I look at the rest of that team, you too have no room for either Yuvraj Singh or Lasith Malinga. Thoughts?
No, look, that was one of the questions that I was posing to myself, where I bat Rohit Sharma. And yeah, it was tough. I thought Surya Kumar Yadav did a really good job there last year, so it was hard to dislodge him. I've seen Evan Lewis at his best, so it was a real toss-up. It was a 50-50 call between him and Quinton de Kock, and I just thought the X factor, you can go with Evan Lewis. He's really a destructive player. You'll probably get more consistent results out of Quinton de Kock, but Evan Lewis on his day is destructive. When you look at that batting unit, you just see depth, you see power, you see skill, and it's something which is going to be in their best interest. So I just think that how they're going to cover Bumrah down the track is a really interesting one, because I've picked Behrendorff, and I think that he'll play most of the games. Seems to do really well at one caddy, left arm, swings the ball early, and he'll have a big X factor in the power play.
All right, now in fact, if I just look at your playing 11 there, it's not Pollard for Ben Cutting that you have, but you've got Pollard and Ben Cutting. Does that in any way reduce the fast bowling arsenal with just Behrendorff and Bumrah? Then you're relying on Hardik Pandya, Krunal Pandya, Cutting and Pollard didn't at all times complete 4 overs last time. Hodgie, you've picked both the all-rounders ahead of either Adam Milne or Mitchell McClenaghan or Malinga, the outright fast bowlers.
Yeah, I just think that Hardik Pandya will certainly bowl 4 overs a game leading into the World Cup. I think that he needs some time under his belt, and I sort of manufacture that into my bowling group with him bowling 4, Behrendorff bowling 4, Bumrah bowling 4. So, there's 12 out of the way already. Markande, Krunal Pandya, little bits and pieces from Pollard. And Ben Cutting as well. So there's plenty of bowling options there for the Mumbai Indians, and a huge depth in their batting with some quality all-rounders. So, yeah, that's what I've banked it on.
All right, prediction then. Where is this team going to finish? Hodgie, you first.
Yeah, look, I think they'll be in the top 4 for sure. I can't see any reason why they wouldn't be. They missed out just last year, but they didn't quite click at the start of the tournament. If they fire up again at the start of the tournament, they can go all the way.
Sanjay?
It's always been a good team, Mumbai Indians, and sometimes they've made it to the final, sometimes they've been champions, but they've never been unsuccessful because the team has been bad. It's never started off looking weak on paper. Again, a very strong team, and yes, I think they'll have a position in the playoffs.
All right, that should sound good to the owners who have high expectations of their team. Both Sanjay and Brad predicting that the Mumbai Indians are more than likely to make the playoffs this season.
Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and leave your comments in the comment section below. Click on the bell icon for notifications.